This is Pete with PI Reviews, going over the MMI interface for the 2021 Audi E-Tron Prestige model. So as you can see here, you have basically this top MMI interface and the bottom one. The top one has the buttons for, it's a screen that basically has, at the home screen here, you have this interface, and if you hit it again, it basically gives you radio, media, phone, navigation, phone apps, vehicle, favorites, settings, and then it has help, users, messages, purchases, legal notes, weather, news, and calendar. If we go to the radio, obviously you have the radio.
Taxes and grow that savings.
The radio has various sources. You can do FM, HD radio, XM, Sirius XM, etc. If you go back to this, the media one allows you to play from various sources, including USB. This car only has USB-C connectors, so whatever you plug into it, it has to have that. Going back to the main thing here, the phone interface is where you would connect phones. Obviously any Bluetooth device. It uses Bluetooth 4.2 and above, I believe. The navigation is the built-in navigation that comes with the car itself. The nice feature about this navigation system is that it actually shows you where chargers are and what type of chargers there are, whether they are AC or DC, and what kilowatt capacity they have. Going into the phones and apps, that's basically the connection to your phone. It has Apple Play and Android Auto. So all the features that you normally would expect from that. In the vehicle settings, you have a whole lot of different settings here. If you go to Audi Drive Select, you basically have efficiency, comfort, auto, dynamic, or individual. So obviously if you choose comfort, it's going to be the suspension is actually much softer and stuff. If you put it in dynamic, it's going to be harder. It drives more like a sporty car. If you go to individual, you can essentially choose from various levels here and save it to that, so you can basically go with that settings. If we go back, going back to vehicle data, that tells you what your range is, and if you want to extend the range, it'll turn off the AC and stuff like that and give you an extra 7 miles in this particular case. Charging and efficiency. This gives you information around what the charge level is. You can set the target for your charging. As with all the electric cars, the recommended charging is to 80%, unless you need it unless you need the extra range for a long distance driving, and then you can charge it to 100, or any level in between if you want. If you go back, efficiency assist, you can put it in automatic or manual, and that's basically for recuperation. Going back to the main menu here, seats. This particular car has massage seats, and it also has air conditioning vented seats. So you can see here that you could do various level of massages, like wave, pulse, stretch, relaxation, and so on and so forth, with various three levels of intensity. And the air conditioning. Air conditioning has some really nice feature, and kudos to Audi for doing this. It has an ionizer right here, which will basically remove any bad odors and stuff like that from the car. And then it also has this air refreshener, which if you go here in the settings, it has two different fragrances, the winter and the summer one, and 4 levels of like how much it pushes in as far as then you have footwell temperature, and you can move this to colder or warmer, whatever you prefer. And then you have auto supplementary heater, and this button over here gives you the heating steering wheel. This is the rear air conditioning system, which changes the bottom part here, and you can adjust it for the rear. It has individuals on the front and rear. We'll change that. You have a sync button here, which will sync all the systems to the same temperature, and obviously you have the off, and the AC max is turning the AC at the maximum level. Going back to the next button here, light and visibility. This is giving you exterior lighting, interior lighting settings. So exterior, you could do automatic headlights, which you could set it to early, medium, or late. High beam assistant, it basically turns on the high beams whenever it's dark outside and there are no lights coming from your front. In other words, if another car comes from your front, it'll turn your high beams off and leave it at the regular lights, which are, by the way, very, very strong. So I've had many times when other drivers would flash at me saying that I have the high beams on when I really didn't. The entry lighting, this is just a light for the door when you open it. Daylight running lights, that's your LED lights in front of the car. If we go to interior lights, you have these lights over here that you can change the colors to. As you can see here, it changes to red, sort of a darker blue, Caribbean, Audi Drive Select, or you could do individual, and then you have a setting button here where you could change for various areas. As you can see, like in this area here, you can have a different color. The bottom of the footwell would have a different color and stuff like that. And then you have a brightness over here, and then you have the lines here with various colors. You can choose different colors from this palette over here. So I mean, you can customize it quite a bit. It's really actually a very nice interface to change this on. The rain sensor, you can turn it on and off. It basically turns the windshield wipers on when it senses any type of moisture on your windshield. Parking aid is essentially the sensors telling you when you're near objects, they beep, and you can change the settings to how loud they are when they beep. This car has a 360 view camera as well, so you can basically look around the vehicle while you're parking it. Driver assistance, so this is stuff that this is the safety, or the auto nannies, I would call them. You can have 3 settings here: maximum, individual, or basic. And then if you go to individual, you can turn on and off various settings. Like distance warning, for example, is a setting that you can turn on, and when you're too close to cars, you're going to get basically a warning in your dashboard, as well as on the heads-up display that shows you that you're too close to a car in front of you. You have Audi Presense, which is also another safety feature. Side assist basically tells you in the mirrors, it flashes at you with an orange light if it sees any car in your blind spot. Intersection assist is basically another feature. Emergency assist, that's your SOS stuff, and exit warning is when you're coming out. For example, if you're backing out of a parking lot and somebody comes, it warns you, and if it's too close, it actually slams on the brakes for you, which if you're not expecting it, could be quite annoying, but it's definitely a good safety feature. Going back to the main menu here is you have settings and service here. There are some other things you can do here. There is a button over here which is marked with the star on the steering wheel, and that's this button over here where you can set it to do various things such as front camera view or garage opener or things like that. Hold assist is actually a very, very good feature. It's really nice, and kudos to Audi for doing that. Essentially, when you stop at a light, you can take your foot off the brake pedal, and the car will stay put in the same position. Essentially holds the brakes until you accelerate, and then it releases them, and that's this setting over here. It's actually very nice and very handy. Electrical cars, obviously, if you don't know that, they don't like if they're stopping at the on the road somewhere, they can move back and forth depending on the inclination of the road. They don't really have the brakes on unless you have something like this turned on here. Service intervals, that's just basically telling you what the service intervals are for your car. Integrated toll module, that is actually a feature that this car came up with. It has an integrated toll module reader, which you have to register and pay a monthly fee for it. But if you, for example, have Easy Pass, you can use this instead of an Easy Pass to pay for the tolls. It has other settings here like air suspension, trailer, like if you want to lift the car up a little bit. By the way, the car has dynamic suspensions, which I probably mentioned in the beginning. And the car can actually self-adjust itself. When you turn it on, it'll level, and you can actually choose various settings where you can like lift it up a little bit or let it go down further. Central locking is just where you can lock one door or multiple doors at the same time or unlock them. Interior monitoring is a feature that if your car is locked and something moves inside the car, it may turn the alarm on. Garage door opener is just the wireless garage door opener settings, and that's where you would add your garage door openers and stuff like that. Vehicle information basically tells you about the VIN number of the car, the version of what software it runs. Tire pressure monitoring is obviously monitoring the tire pressure. That's where you would reset it if you need to pump up your tires and stuff like that. And then wiper change position, you turn that on if you want to essentially clean your wipers or clean your window, and you want to put the wipers in a position where you can actually lift them off the windshield. Going back to here, you have a favorites button, and favorites you can save pretty much anything like settings and radio stations and things like that. If you go here in this, it basically gives you the radio, music, it'll give you the internal stuff again. Phone, same thing, basically what you had here in the first row of things. On the bottom here, you have the temperature controls, essentially, where you can change the temperature. Obviously, if the sink is on, you will change the temperature across the board. If you turn the sink off, it'll change it on your side only. If you click on the seat, it gives you the option to like make the seats tighter on you or not, change all the seat settings, and then you can also turn on the massager from there. This button here basically turns on the the air conditioning seats, and then the heater for the seats is the left button on this side. They're kind of mimicked on the other side, except for the auto here, which recirculates the air in the car. And then this this button here brings the same thing that I've showed you before, where you can turn the fragrance on or the ionizer or change any of the settings there. Other settings that are here, you have the hazard lights on, you have the max AC to defrost your windows and stuff like that, the rear window. You have the safety button here, which you should never turn off, that because that's basically helping you if the car is starting to slip somewhere. It'll apply the brakes and things like that. You have the drive select here, which will change right now, since we're not actually in drive mode. It doesn't do anything right at this moment, but you can change the drive from dynamic to your custom settings and stuff like that. This here is where you actually put the car in drive or reverse. You would have to obviously hold the brake pedal, and then you would move it forward to put it in reverse, or back to drive forward, and then the parking button is on the side here, which is pretty unusual for most cars, but that's basically the settings. And as you can see here, you have a 360 camera, which will show you where the car is and what's around it. You can do this and go around the car. It'll basically show you everything that's around the vehicle. Obviously this is in software, so it's stitched together, and that's why it kind of looks funky on the edges especially, but that's pretty much what you have here. There's another button here on the right, which is also for all the safety on and off features that you can have. You have a volume button on and off here, and then there's an electronic parking brake and the start button for this. On the dash itself, that is also customizable. You can put various types of things as far as what you see there. As you can see now, the map is on there. You can change it from radios, and you can show what the consumption is, for example, or your trip meter and things of that nature. On the steering wheel, you have several buttons here. Obviously these two buttons on here is what I just showed you. It changes what's on your screen. Here you have trip computer. You could do reduce display, or you can reset your mileage on there. Under view, you can those are the only three, except for charging, but since now it's not really charging, it's not going to do anything. On the right side you have the volume, which you probably can't see because it's pretty dark in the car here. You have a narrow right and left, and then you have this button which is programmable, as well as the button to talk to the car to do various functions, or use Siri and then picking up the phone. So that's pretty much all the buttons that that I can find here that I can show you in this video. Continuing from the main screen, going into the settings here, under general, you can obviously change the date and time. You can change the measurement units from metric to standard. You can turn on and off the reminder for your mobile device being in the car. So essentially, if the car is connected to your mobile device, if the setting is on and you leave the car and you forget the phone in there, it'll basically bark at you and tell you that you have your phone in the car, so you can get it. Speech dialogue system, that's basically using the Hey Audi, sort of like Hey Siri type of thing. It's a virtual assistant of some sort. I personally think that the Siri one works better. Version information, that tells you what the car software version is and things like that. Legal notes and licenses, that's all legally stuff, not really of any importance. Display brightness, so you basically can change the brightness of your cockpit here, Heads-up display has its own brightness, and it also has a rotation that you can change on it. It's really a nice feature here. Virtual cockpit, you can change the way the displays look from classic. For example, it changes it now to sports. And then you can do the E-Tron, and that changes it to E-Tron. As you can see on here, it changed the way it looked. I personally prefer this one, but obviously everyone can choose whatever they want there. The MMI, that's the brightness of the screen here. The touchscreen feedback, that's something that you can turn on. It's basically a haptic feedback, and the acoustic one is the clicking, and you can turn that off as well. I find it useful to be on because you hear a little bit of a click when you touch something, so you know that it actually took that command that you were touching. And then screen cleaning is obviously for cleaning the screen. It turns it off for the time you clean it. Operation in the rear is you can block the AC, and it's basically a parental control for kids so they don't play around with your AC. Going back to here, languages and keyboards. Obviously the keyboard, you can set different languages there. For the keyboard, you can also change the keyboard type from here to I think you can choose, yeah, you could do AZ or QWERTY or QWERTZ. I don't even know what that is, but okay. It's basically the layout of your keyboard is what changes there. Under sound, you essentially can change the various sound settings just like on any other car. This car has a Bang & Olufsen stereo system, which sounds very good. It has a focus that you can change from all front to rear. It has a surround level that you can change. It has a 3D effect, which has 3 settings: low, medium, and high. And then you have a speed dependent volume control, which basically turns the volume higher as you drive faster. This car is actually very quiet. It has a dual pane window, and it doesn't really have a whole lot of road noise that you hear inside the cabin, even if your stereo is turned off completely. System maintenance is, for example, the first setting here is automatic online map update. That's just something that it does on its own if you turn that on. Software update is you can basically search for updates and run that, and then you can restore to factory from here. Under users, you just set the users. Obviously you need to use an app on your phone. It gets registered originally when you purchase the car through the dealership with Audi. The Audi app is called Audi Connect, and that has to be matched in here in order for the system to communicate. What you can do with the Audi app, you can basically precondition the car, like turn on the AC remotely from anywhere you have internet, turn on the heat, open windows, close, lock the car, unlock the car, and things of that nature. Connected devices, that's just the devices that you have connected to the car. The car has Wi-Fi in the car, and it has internet available that you can basically pay for on a monthly basis, and then connect various devices to it. Connection settings are just Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. If you're connected via Wi-Fi, all your maps from the phone will translate to the screen in the MMI without actually having to hardwire the phone into it. It'll just use the Wi-Fi for that setting. If we go here, you have the entertainment. Obviously that's just all the sources for various music and stuff like that. Navigation, I've already showed you before. Contacts is just the stuff from your phone. Messages, privacy, notifications, announcements, and tones. That's just this is the welcome sound. It's just a sound that you have when you come in the car. It sounds like that. It's actually a nice sound there. So that's pretty much it for right now. The only other thing I would mention is that the car has a wireless charging pad that's on the side over here, where you can, it has a clip where you can clip the phone into it, and it charges the phone wirelessly. There are some other things that I might have missed here. For example, there are 2 memories for seats and mirrors and things like that that you can program.